which is one reason, but another reason, which I was going to get into, is because it's hard communication. Like a lot of times we want to avoid the hard conversations, right? Because those hard conversations, they do make us look inward. But then the hard conversation could lead to rejection. Welcome to the Clear the Air podcast with D and Q.
D
and Q. Hey man. Today we want to talk about the idea of why it is so hard to say sorry, right? I feel
My sorry for 2004.
Oh my God, I forgot that song. I feel like in today's society, it's hard for people to say sorry. Either people don't like to do it, find it hard to do it, or just won't do it, right? So, we're going to get into that in a second. We do want to ask you to make sure for season 4, we are in season 4 right now. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure for the audio experience, you're with Apple and or Spotify, okay? That being said, let's dive right in. So bro, do you feel like is it hard or easy for you to say sorry?
No, it's not hard for me, but what I will say, I try to do as much as possible beforehand, whether it's research, whatever, so I don't have to, but if I'm wrong, if I'm at fault, I will definitely apologize. I'm sure you can attest to that. Like both of us, we were like, bro, my bad, I'm sorry, blah, 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 this and that. Even if it's days later, whatever, but we will apologize. It's not hard for me. You don't like to be wrong a lot, so you don't like to always have to be apologized. I know we're gonna get into that.
Well,
but when the time comes, no, I don't have a problem.
Well, that's why I asked you, and you said something. So, is it that you want to do the research so that you're not wrong, so you don't appear a certain way, or just because you don't want to be the person that's always saying sorry because Correct. You're wrong about stuff?
It's both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay. So.
And then you know me, I like to do my research.
Yeah, you like to do research.
I like to do my research.
The historian, that's what we call it.
Yeah. So I don't want to be out here looking like a fool, like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, that leads to reasons why it is hard to say sorry. I would probably say the biggest reason is ego/pride.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So
especially with us.
As men,
sure.
And I would say also, I think you're right, as men, that ego can get hit, and we walk around with this pride, as if like we know everything and there's no way that we could be wrong. I think it's important in hip hop. We talk about hip hop. It's important in your relationships, mm-hmm. parents, if you're dating, mm-hmm. If you're married. Okay, and I'm gonna give you all the story of how I had to say sorry just yesterday. But I think that's one of the biggest reasons, who are you that I should have to say sorry to you? And I think when we have that mindset, it's very damaging to us. It's not just men though. I feel like women have a hard time with saying sorry as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because, watch this, they end up having to say sorry less than what we do. And so because there's not a lot of practice, it could be debatable.
That's debatable.
It could be debatable, So
are you trying to say that we be messing up more? So we gotta apologize?
I would say that. In some ways, yeah, I would say that. I think we have more of an opportunity as men to make the mistakes because we are leaders. We're the leaders of our households. There are more at work. There are more men leaders than there are, and it has been that way for years. Okay, so I would agree with that. I do think so. But I think it's because of the position and the way that society is. That's the reason why I say that. Another reason I think, and I think this is also a big reason as well, because there are times when we do things and we know what we're doing to hurt people, right? And we have to say sorry. But I believe there are times when we didn't intend to hurt someone or to do the wrong thing. And so then there's this shame or guilt that exists because we have done so. So when we realize, either because we've been told by said individual or we just realize, dang, I really didn't handle that well, there is a level of shame and guilt that exists. Okay? But that's why I love the Bible, because the Bible says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. I like the fact that there is grace. And I believe we should all receive grace.
And my dad says grace and space.
I like that.
God gives you grace and space to get into place. My dad says that all the time.
Ooh, I like that. And what I like about the thing about grace is, and you should be surrounded by people who, watch this, don't applaud your mistakes or hold you accountable for them, but they give you grace and space to get in place. So I like that. Another reason why I think it's hard to say sorry is because
that word you just said, accountability. You just said it.
He said it. You may go there. Talk to us about that.
Well, accountability or lack thereof. You know, I mentioned the situation with the young lady and how when I, told her the issue I was having in regards to her, and I was trying to, talk about the things that happened, that bothered me. She didn't want to talk. She was like, I don't want to talk about the past, blah, blah, blah. Again, that lack of accountability. Yeah, and it wasn't like, I get that, not dwelling on the past, but this happened like just recently in the past. So I had to bring it up to let you know, hey,
right,
if you really rock with me and care for me, these are some things that bother me.
Right.
And so I wanted to bring them to your attention rather than not saying anything that you wondering why I got an attitude or don't really want to, be around you. So I wanted to bring your attention, but that lack of accountability, she just was not trying to hear. So that's probably the biggest thing when it comes to sorry, like saying sorry. You just don't want to admit that lack of admission.
That's evil.
I was going to ask you something, bro. Have you ever had a situation where you couldn't bring yourself to say sorry? Like you just could not?
I think initially, yeah.
But have you ever did it to where you just still
avoided it?
Yeah, and you just, I don't know, maybe that you no longer had that relationship with somebody. Like it could be a homeboy. I'm not telling you know what I'm saying? Like you just could not bring yourself to say sorry. Even still now.
No, and I would say the only time that could be is if the person is dead. Not to be gruesome, but I think,
like if you literally can't do it because they're no longer here.
Right. I don't, and I'm going to give an example of how I just had to say sorry, not right now, but just yesterday with my wife. But no, because what I like to do is it doesn't sit right with me even if a person did something to me that they should be sorry for. See, I'm gonna tell you the issue with you not doing it. The problem is I have to be accountable to God. So the fact that I know, fumbled and I they know I'm wrong and I know I'm wrong and I just haven't. Nah, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I hope I'm never in a situation to where that's the case, but
I'm gonna tell you something that I heard. A young lady, actually, employee, co-worker, whatever. She was a supervisor. She is a supervisor, and one of her employees had an issue with her. Right? They just were not seeing eye to eye. So they had a meeting with the director. And so they was kind of going at it, the supervisor and the employee were going at each other in front of the director. So then the supervisor went out of the office. The employee the director said to the employee, do you think you maybe want to go overboard? The employee said, you know what? Yes, I did, and I'm sorry, but I will not apologize to her. I am sorry and I did go overboard, but I just cannot say sorry to her.
Do you think that's ego and pride?
The supervisor, she can kind of rub people the wrong way. And yes, I think it was, possibly ego and pride when it came to an employee, because she just cannot. She literally said to the director, "I'm sorry," and tell her I'm sorry, but I can't bring myself to tell her sorry. Like, she had that so much disdain for this woman. I was like, man, that's kind of.
You know what? So, and on the flip side, I actually do have a situation. Well, it's not exactly that. There is someone who I am sorry to. And unfortunately, they haven't passed away as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not in a position to apologize to them. Incorrect. So watch this. I did apologize to said individual. It wasn't face to face. And I do believe, let me just say this, and this is definitely a clear in the air moment, so I will say it again if I can remember. The same way you hurt a person should be the same way in which you apologize.
100%. Your apology should be as loud as your disrespect.
Yeah.
I say that often.
Yeah. And
if you disrespected me publicly, your apology should be public.
Yeah.
If you disrespected me loudly, your apology should be just as loud.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to disrespect me loudly, then come, oh no. I'm definitely, there's one person specifically right now, and they know who they are.
I think I know who they are.
Exactly.
So
and everybody and their mama trying to get me, no.
So
y'all must have forgot.
So in this situation, this is when I was younger, like in college, and a person, like a family member, hurt this person. Family member, I think, based off what they told me, caused me to be disrespectful to said individual. I was, and I did not, and I hurt that person in such a way that I don't think they wanted to be around me. And so it bothered me so much years later that I reached out to this person online to apologize, and they shut down their entire account. And so
did you not get the full research before you went and attacked the other person? Like
because of who this
family member?
Yeah, because of who they are to me, I just went solely off of what they said.
How is your relationship with that family member now?
That's the crazy part. We don't talk like that. As close as they were to me at that point in time, we are not that close now.
Is it because of what happened?
No, but a culmination of things, which that was one of the things. And so now, I'm not in a position to say the sorry that I would like to, like face to face. Now, if I saw said individual outside, I would love to, it would be very scary. I think that's another thing, which will lead to another thing right before we clear the air. It would be very scary because so much time has elapsed, and the fear of rejection. That's another reason why it's hard to say sorry, the fear of rejection, which is one reason. But another reason, which I was going to get into, is because it's hard communication. Like, a lot of times we want to avoid the hard conversations, right? Because those hard conversations, they do make us look inward. But then the hard conversation could lead to rejection or the end of a relationship. So I think that's what is tough.
We're clearing the air.
We're clearing the air. So let me say this part. My wife had asked me a question, and I responded. She asked me if I had did something that I was supposed to do, which was kind of accountability that she was having for me. I said, no, I didn't do it. She shook her head as if like in disgust, kind of, that it wasn't done. And so I responded to what I thought her response was. Come to find out, I misinterpreted her shaking her head. It wasn't about what I thought it was. and then I had to apologize. Now, was there damage done? Yes, because I wasn't forceful nor abusive. I'm not an abusive husband. But you can say something that a person takes a way in which you didn't intend for it to be taken. And so I had to apologize. Now the damage was done because it was some hours before they were really ready to talk to me. My wife was ready to talk to me again. And sometimes that happens, and I think that's where like the shame and the guilt comes in, because when you do have a good heart, you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to make anybody feel any kind of way.
For sure.
So that's how that goes. But I do want to say this as we clear the air. Like you said, do your research. It's not about, I want to have a track record where, I'm perfect, because that's ego as well. But I do think if your heart is right, you want to get it right as often as you possibly can.
Look, you said it earlier. The Bible says we all have sinned and come short, right? Which essentially means nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody, right? But you also don't want to be out here wrong all the time.
All the
feeling
time,
like
yeah.
you had to.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a natural reaction. Like I don't like to be out here and be wrong.
Right.
What do you say? Loud and wrong, right?
Because now you're talking about your reputation
And your credibility.
Right, your credibility. Well,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I like the word credibility more than your
Yes.
reputation,
Yes.
because you could have a bad. Cat Williams might have a bad reputation, but his credibility. You see what I'm saying? Right.
'Cause ain't nobody saying it wasn't true.
Exactly. So I would prefer the credibility over, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, the reputation. But now that's in question, because if you keep doing this, now I don't know what to ever trust will come out of your mouth.
Because you might just be spewing anything just to say it.
Right.
Just like to hear yourself talk.
Right. So I think what we should do is we should make an effort that if we're wrong, to apologize. Don't sit there and go,
well, it ain't important now. Or it ain't
yeah, don't sit there and go, all
Never
this
too
time.
late to apologize.
Yeah. And you go all this time where the person is sitting there hurt, and maybe they got past it. It means something when you can come to somebody. That's why I would love that opportunity to say I'm sorry to that individual. And you can tell by them closing their account that it really hurt them.
Right.
And for me, why it's important also is because I am associated with the church. And I feel like in that world, I think sometimes things get more light is shown to Christians when they make mistakes. I do believe that, but I do believe that we have mishandled people often, okay? And there is no sorry that comes. And so people out here damaged, people are out here hurt, and nobody takes accountability for it. And so not only does that, damages your credibility, hurts the person, but now this person is viewing God a certain kind of way because of the way
his people.
Yeah, the way you act. And again, none of us are perfect. And I think we do get put in situations sometimes where we don't know how to handle stuff. But listen, say sorry when we need to. Let's try to live a life where we don't have to always have to say sorry. Let's grow as individuals to where, maybe we hold our tongue so we don't have to say sorry. Maybe sometime holding your tongue until you can do the research is what's needed to be done, so that people are not scarred by your words. People can say what they want. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I don't agree with that.
They can hurt.
So that being said and done, we out of here. We want to make sure that y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please, that audio experience is just as dope as the video experience. You're going to get that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, make sure that you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to catch us there in our clips.
I'm sorry.